We are fucking live. What is going on, everybody? So good to see you. That was very exciting. All right, let's set everything up. Make sure we're good. I'm so excited for tonight. We always are gonna have a good show, but tonight especially, um, because my guest is fucking great, tons of fun, and we both love. Actually, you know what? That was something I was going to talk about right away. We're good. So, guys, if you want to share, like, comment, all that bullshit, yeah, Brian Manel's in the house. What's up? So, as I was working today, I was thinking about this. Um, I play I play a lot of poker, and I play a regular bar poker night game, and it stopped being fun. People are taking it way too seriously. Hey, Wendy, good to see you, girl. People are taking it way too seriously. It's a $5 game. Like, fucking chill out. And what I realized is that it's not entertaining. This show is now on cable. Both in Montana is amazing. I've never been. I've never been to Montana. Um. Yeah, it's not entertaining, and it should be entertaining. And my guest tonight, who's already started his shit talking, is all about entertainment. And I think that's something that is lost on a lot of us, is that we're not in, okay, we're in the publishing arena, we're in the art arena, we're under all those things. But the bigger umbrella is we're in the entertainment business. And tonight's guest, Stef motherfucking Circles Wilson, loves to entertain. And I think that is a huge part of why he's on every fucking book, and he's got a cover on every other book. I'm going to ask you some writer questions just for that, Stef. So you know what? He's already started chirping. I might as well just start the fucking show and let's do this, right? So let's go, guys. We're going to have a great fucking show. Lots of questions. Have some fun. It's going to be amazing. Let's do it.
Canadian bacon is actually really good, and it's nothing like normal bacon, and it's better than ham, which you guys seem to call Canadian bacon. I'm very good at writing. I write very well. Yeah, it's Shop Talk.
Do some of your audience members like the word fuck? Cool. Then I'm going to keep saying fuck. Because I care.
Dude,
what's up?
How's it going, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. So excited. I always love hanging out with you, man. I know it's going to be a good show, even before it started.
It's so hysterical when you come on. It's just like, hey, how's it going? It's like, yeah, I've been backstage in the green room talking to you for a while. But
right?
I want to be live streams. It's always like, oh, hey, look who's here. No, freaking been backstage already talking.
We've been shit talking already and everything.
Yeah. Forget the fourth.
Hey, Carrie Ann. Christopher's here. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
And Wendy,
dude, look at
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy's here.
Oh God, here comes Brian. Brian's gonna grill me with questions.
Brian's gonna.
Brian,
we'll definitely displaying some scandalous art that YouTube doesn't like.
Not all of my art, pretty much.
Well, yeah, I mean, the very first show that we did was you and Carrie Ann, and I used the Belial cover.
What's wrong?
They shut us down on YouTube. It never showed up on YouTube. You can't find it.
Dude, it's not even risque. There's nothing to
I know.
it.
I know.
don't understand. You know what it is? It's so arbitrary, the whole algorithms and everything else like that. Because on Facebook, I can post a sketch that is sheer, and you can see right through the dress. You can see Anatomy 101, Stef Wilson way, through the dress, and I can pencil and show that on Facebook. But I can't show naked boobs, right? But on Instagram, you can show naked boobs, no problem. It's just so funny, like what you can get away with. You learn what gets flagged, and then you just avoid it. But that's hysterical because that Bilal cover was adorable, and nothing was out.
No, it was really dumb. Unlike the next one,
drinking. It was beer pong. Maybe they flagged it for drinking, promoting drinking.
No, they said nudity.
Nudity. Maybe because the imp wasn't wearing any clothes. I don't know.
That was dumb. Christopher asks, does Chuck own a circle template? Yeah, it's the end of my finger. I'll just draw around that.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you know what's hysterical? I didn't even have a circle template till like, literally 3 years ago. I didn't.
Wait, isn't that kind of when you started going like serious with it?
Well, yeah, like all those drawings that I sold on eBay, thousands of them. I drew anything circular by hand. And because I don't know about artist tools, and I don't, I'm a cheap bastard, so I use Ticonderoga pencils. And I'm in Michael's one day, and I'm like, oh, that looks useful. Like, what the fuck? How did I not have these tools? I was at French Curves like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, they make curves so you can draw like curved lines. Oh, that's freaking awesome. Like, I don't know.
You guys should see his early work because it was all on lined paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to actually erase the lines. And actually, that was Carrie who did all that work, went into Photoshop, erased the lines. Was it on graph paper?
Yeah, graph paper. I used my own Dungeons and Dragons paper.
Right. All right, so I do have a question for you.
Go. Good.
With the proliferation of sexy covers, variant covers, and all the collector market and whatnot, how do you see the future of comics, both short-term and long-term, when we're having a hard time bringing in new, younger fans? You said I only throw softballs, so fuck you.
Dude, man, you started that question with proliferation. It's the first freaking word.
Writer.
Okay, you know what? Let's how many people watch this show? How many people we got watching this show right now?
We got about a dozen.
Dude, so we can talk ugly, right? We can talk the uglies here.
We can talk ugly. Honestly, I only asked the question just because you called me softball, but I'm interested in the conversation.
Oh, okay. To show that you can ask big questions.
Yeah, I can ask him. I just don't refuse to.
No, you know what? In all seriousness, there is a seriousness to that question. It definitely is. Like, I got into it. I started doing pinup covers, blah, 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 right? Everybody knows pinup covers from Zenoscope. And before Zenoscope, there was Top Cow and there was Dark Horse doing sexy covers, And then sexy variant covers became a way to sell books, a way to bring in more fans who like sexy art, who might actually read your book or something like that. I'm always looking at the art that's out there, and I'm not talking the art that's on comic books. I'm talking about all the other art. There is somebody called Ken2 on he's on Twitter, he's on Instagram or whatever, does real graphic cool stuff. And a lot of the art that you see coming from more Asian style artists, if that stuff doesn't appear on comic books are going to go away when the guys who like 90s comics die. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of covers that you see still look like 90s comic books. Nothing wrong with that. There is a market for that. There's a group for that. But if you don't see some sort of younger take on a cover that's going to appeal to somebody who's under the age and was not exposed to Wolverine 90s comics covers all looking a certain way, you're just going to you're losing out on a market, and you're going to eventually kill yourself in comics.
Yeah,
because not everybody likes 90s style comics covers. Yes, the buying market is there for it right now because that's your core group. But if you're not going to bring anybody else new in, that core group's eventually, well, let's be honest, die.
Well, and I think, obviously you speaking from a cover standpoint, which makes perfect sense, but I would also say from a writer's standpoint, from a story standpoint, we need to stop talking down to our audience and try to meet up with them. Using words like on fleek and shit like that, when that's, like 2008, it's wildly gone. By the way, Wendy, I affected the sound, so tell me if this sounds better now. But yeah, and then like trying to force certain things and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to talk too weird. Just I don't know. I just find that they're not actually talking to the audience.
Right. Like it was really weird. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my sound.
No, you're good.
I saw a comic that the inside was and it was a comic that was out on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or something like that. The insides looked very much like Scotty Young's books. Have you seen Scotty Young's work?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the panels were very set that way, very dramatic, very simplistic style, and freaking hilarious from page to page, like engaging from page to page. Both the artwork and the dialogue was, and it wasn't a hell of a lot of dialogue, but the dialogue was perfect to the pictures, whatever. And my niece would read that. I would read that. It's a lot broader, and it reaches, like you said, to a younger audience that is not, and you and I have had this conversation actually once or twice because of you with the writing side. When people put out issue 1 of a comic, sometimes it feels like the entire issue 1 is dialoguing because they're trying to introduce the backstory through panels of conversation. And it's kind of like you get that scene where you're like, why is that guy talking to that lady that way? She would know who he is, where they're introducing themselves or almost kind of thing. And I get it. They're trying to introduce the backstory of the story. But some of the comics that are out there, they've got so much of that I'm thinking that the younger audience, you look at movies and that we watched in the 80s, they're a lot slower than movies today. Like you go back and watch a classic old movie and you're like, man, this is slow, the plot moves slow. The whole thing moves slow because we're so much used to a faster pace. So I think comics have to be the same way. The insides of the comic books have to move with a slightly faster generation.
Yeah. Well, and that's something that because, people are like, oh, manga is going to take over and whatnot. So why don't we take some stuff from manga? One thing about manga is less panels per page. There, if you look at the averages, the average for an American comic is, and I can't believe, by the way, that you and I are starting this fucking serious.
What the fuck, man? This is like a serious show.
Like I said, you said softball, and I was going to hit you with the 1. Right. Just 1 straight down the center. Manga is usually 3 to 4 panels on average, and American comics is 5 to 6. And some of you guys are fucking 8, 9, 10 panels per page. By the way, pay your fucking artists more when you do that shit. Holy crap!
Right, I know, because it's a damn rat's nest. No, and that is like one of my little beefs or whatever, or like pet peeves, is that you get a writer and they're trying to cram a story into 24 pages, and then, like you said, they load up a page with 12 panels. And I've had conversations with creators where I'm like, how about you do these 8 panels, type page? And then I start talking splash page, and they have fainting attacks because it's like a splash page. I can't get as many panels in if I do a splash. Well, then you got to tell less story. Like I was talking to one creator because we're kind of co-collaborating, I guess, or co-creating on this. And I was like, you can spread this out into 15 issues. There's no reason to try and tell the whole story each and every issue. Like literally, like I had to work on, like, split it up, tell one story, one issue, very small story. And I think that gets missed. And the problem is, look, even me, my art style is different than anybody else's. Well, it's different from anybody else's because I paid attention to so many different art styles. Like I didn't look at one type of art and say, that's the way I want to draw. I keep my eyes open on all different styles as they come along, and my style changes because of it. And like you said, look at manga books. How do they do their work? Look at an Oscar Martin book. He's works for Disney. He does his own book solo. The panels in that are freaking gorgeous. It looks like a Disney movie inside a book. I get you can't always do that with your comic, but you can learn from what these other art forms are doing and bring it in, and maybe somebody will go, wow, that's a freaking cool comic book. Like that's different, Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so Lewis is here.
Lewis. He's like my third or fourth favorite publisher, at least.
And as a stalker, third favorite stalker.
First favorite stalker.
First favorite stalker. Oh, okay. Wow, goals, people. Edward McMinn says, I've seen various examples of Mr. Wilson's art, and as far as this little Antipodean and several of my Australian friends are concerned, it is simply cute art. Nothing even slightly porn about it. Any person who thinks otherwise is some kind of moron. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say porn, but, you know, we do see nudity, and I mean...
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, you deal with that however you're going to deal with that. Porn, though, is pretty fucking, like, we've seen certain comics, and I won't mention Jim Noble because that's not fair.
No, let's not bring up Jim Noble.
No, because that's not fair. That's not fair.
Right. Jim,
no.
Let's not bring up Jim E. Noble. Totally Red Comics.
Yeah.
At all.
We're not going to mention that. No, but
not
you see some where full vagina flapped open. You're seeing everything. Like, is that the cervix in there? Like, you're seeing everything. Right. Dude, it's a line. It's literally a little curved line.
Jim's going full-on fallopian tubes for his next Kickstarter. Yeah.
I actually swear that I saw sperm and everything. Yeah, it was
part of anatomy coursework now. His comics, because there's no actual writing in the books. It's all paid. But no, seriously, I made money off of eBay selling sexy art, and a lot of the commissions back when I first started were nudity, graphic, what you would call porn, like full-on show everything kind of art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because I was just making a buck selling sketches on eBay. With covers, and luckily with my success on covers, I don't mind nudity on, like, say, a Totally Rad book, because that's pretty much what his books are about. I wouldn't do a nude cover for Belial, because I don't think Belial goes that far. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
you can show boobs, and you could show maybe a little camel toe or something like that, but I don't think it's the kind of thing that's a leg spread kind of book. It doesn't do anything for the book. So I'm glad that I've done enough covers that I've had a couple requests for more nudity than I would care to do. And like you were saying, if I can't make a picture cute or funny, I don't enjoy it. So if there isn't a cute, scrunchy face on an absolutely sexy body, and she's just dumbfounded that the bear is ogling her from the woods or something, you know, like, there has to be a little bit of a story going on. And my favorite is the one where the girl is kind of surprised that her boobs are bouncing around and she's causing a distraction. And that's not porn. That's more fun mishaps.
Yeah. You know what? It reminds me, your art style doesn't necessarily, but the idea, like the playfulness of what you do, reminds me of those Playboy cartoons, which are not porn by any means. Right.
Yeah, and I like to have fun and put little characters in there and have little interactions. Yeah, you know, and I'm trying to steer as much as possible to that cuteness factor, because here's the other thing. I'm a businessman, and cute sells. It does.
Yeah.
You know, there are lots of pinup artists out there who can draw, or, you know, look at Keith Garvey and some of those other works that are absolutely gorgeous pinups. I'm not trying to compete with that, because I'm not even in the same style. So for me, adding a cute factor it's a sales point.
I would say in a lot of ways, you're almost a little more, and I mean, you've shown this even just on your show, you're a little more cartoon than comic, really, in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and I mean, that's certainly not it shouldn't be anyways, a judgment. It just kind of is. I mean, I would say in a lot of ways, Scotty Young is more cartoon than comic.
Yeah, exactly. And I love his work. It's absolutely
of course. Now, Sam B-Boy says, reading manga engages your mind in ways regular books don't. I'd like you to explain that, because everything in me is crying bullshit. So explain that, because I don't understand what you're saying there.
Don't you have to read left to right? That would engage your mind in a whole new way.
I guess so. But I mean, I've read them and I didn't find it any different. It was just, you just had to be mindful of that.
Now, and you know me, I love to throw out blanket statements and piss people off. I think there's actually just one manga story. They're just in different schools. That's all. I think there's that. Now I'm kidding. I love manga.
Wendy says, I don't like more than...
I drew a picture of Lady Deadpool for my cosplay art book, of Lady Deadpool blowing up the Funko Pop booth at a con, right? And the only commentary I was making was that Funko Pop comes in and sets up, these Funko Pop vendors set something up bigger than Toys R Us that looms over the whole convention hall. It is literally a building built out of Funko Pops, and it looms over the whole convention hall. And that's my only problem with Funko Pops, is that when they're at a con, it's like a skyscraper in the middle of farmland, you know? And meanwhile, I post that picture, that this little joke about her blowing up a Funko Pop booth, and I got a bunch of people, oh, not the Funko Pops. I'm like, I have nothing against Funko Pops. Like, why are people getting upset?
Well, and it bugs me that people don't understand also that those of us who are at shows, the Funko Pops really take a lot of money and eyes away from us. Like,
of course.
And yeah, I mean, because it means that you're immediately going up against Marvel, DC, blah, blah, like all these things. And,
right.
You know, we have to educate people on what we're doing.
Right.
Whereas they can just come out and go, hey, these people did this amazing thing. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Fuck. Of course they do.
Yeah. Right.
I have the fun story that I like to tell, where I was at a show and sales were not amazing for that day, and I was trying to push it and trying to get someone excited. So this guy walks by and he's got like a big Ninja Turtles print.
Right.
And I was like, dude, Ninja Turtles, are you an old school fan? He's like, oh yeah, I've loved them for a long time. I was like, don't you wish that you could go back and be in a convention and get that first like black and white Ninja Turtles? And he's like, oh my gosh, I would love that. I was like, it's here right now. He's like, what do you mean, that book? I was like, no, the next Ninja Turtles. It's in this fucking place, and you walked by the booth.
Right.
And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're walking by the booth, man. Someone here is talented enough to do that next thing, and you guys are walking by it. And there's going to be one dude who doesn't walk by it. He's going to publish that shit. That's going to go to TVs, movies, whatever. And you're going to be left holding a fucking print that you paid $30 for that is literally worthless. It's worthless.
Right. No.
And he was like, shit. And he bought up a aisle right there.
Did he? Nice sell. Hard sell, but nice sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like Alton Simpson. Vampires of New Jersey.
Yep.
So, he does his music, he does this, he does that, whatever. His Vampires of New Jersey, he pushed that around Jersey, boots on the ground, comic book store to comic book store. He didn't go to Kickstarter until issue 6. So this is a guy who built up a storyline and built up a comic by old-fashioned way, printing it himself, bringing it around to comic shops, right? He got a little bit of notoriety for being at Bill and Jay's comic shop in Red Bank. That's given him a little notoriety. Anyway, last time I saw one of his posts, he's talking movie rights or TV rights or whatever about this book. You could have picked up Vampires of New Jersey 1 from the original creator maybe 6 years ago if you went to a comic shop and didn't buy some mainstream comic. You bought the little thing that was probably on a plastic stand on the counter where he had brought it in and asked the comic book shop guy to show his book. Like, that's grassroots. If you're not buying grassroots comics, it's never going to be the next Ninja Mutant Turtle thingy, whatever it is.
Is that what we're going to do on your next You Can Draw?
What is it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Dude, I know nothing about pop culture. Absolutely nothing.
I know, and I love that about you. I think that's hilarious about you. So here is a question that I did think. This is one of my fun little softball questions, but this is a Stef question. If you had to take on a TV show, video game, or something like that, and actually watch it and enjoy it, based on what you're most commissioned to do, what things would you end up having to watch and play?
So if I got stuck having to watch or if I got stuck having as entertainment, what is my most popular commissions and my most popular requests as far as art?
Yep.
Savage Land Rogue wins out every time.
Really?
You're taking Rogue, a character that everybody wants a commission of, and then you're putting her in a jungle setting with the tattered remnants of a bikini, it's a no-brainer.
She's one of my favorites too. I feel
you know, like I used to love Red Sonja, but then they put her in boy shorts and a sweater to appeal to the whatever. And you know, and I don't have a problem. If you think that this is like Playboy taking the nudes out, if you think putting on a sweater and boy shorts on Red Sonja is going to help your sales, you need to go back to your marketing meetings, because that's not what's hurting the sales of Red Sonja. Her classic chainmail bikini is iconic. And if you can't use that to make sales, you might have some other issues, like maybe writing or appeal to. But here's my biggest problem with the Red Sonja costume change. What barbarian wears boy shorts? Where the frig were boy shorts in the time period that Red Sonja is supposed to be in? This is not the 2000s. So why she got boy shorts on?
You gotta do a sweater girl black Red Sonja. That would be fucking hilarious.
I know, with a chainmail sweater on.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be so fucking funny. I think that chainmail turtleneck.
I had this huge bucket list in my mind when I started doing my first comic covers. Like, oh God, I can't wait. I want to do a Red Sonja. I want to do a Red Sonja. I want to do a Red Sonja. I want to do a Vampirella, right? I want to do a Vampirella and Red Sonja.
Yeah.
And now I see their new costumes. I'm like, no, I really don't care. Why? Because the chainmail bikini was freaking awesome. The one piece that Vampirella wore, that thing was awesome. That's what I wanted to draw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Brian's got some serious questions there. I hope I'm not overlooking.
He does. We're gonna go back to it, but we're having some fun. Yeah, Eric's there. He says I would have bet on Star Wars. So besides comic stuff, what would you be checking out as far as like TV shows, movies, video games? What kind of stuff do you think would? I know you've done a bunch of World of Warcraft.
Right. Yeah, I get a lot of requests for World of Warcraft characters, because these people play their characters and then they want me to draw their character, which is hysterical because those commissions are relentless. Only because I guess you guys get a character and then you pick items or you win items or whatever. So each of their characters are distinctive. So Sarah's character looks different than Joshua. So somebody will be like, hey, can you do a commission of a Draenei or whatever it is? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I've done a couple. Blue, hooves, tail, whatever. And then I'll rough it out. And then I'll get could you give her this and give her that and then give her this? And I'm like, you didn't tell me at the start. And it turns out I'm drawing their personal character. Like, screenshot your personal character and send me a freaking picture. When Sarah was getting one for World of Warcraft, that's what she did. She basically just took screenshots of her character from the video game. Saves me a lot of trouble. Now I know what your equipment is, what your armor looks like, what your hair looks like, whatever. So, but absolutely. Star Wars, I don't get a lot of Star Wars commission requests. I love drawing sexy Leia, and I sell a lot of sexy Leia, but that's only because I like drawing her.
So do we have to do like sexy Boba Fett or something?
Yeah, it's always funny because with the sexy Boba Fett or something like that, I'm not, and I've had people ask for that. And I actually did a commission recently of a Predator. I'm not into the mask thing. Not that I have a problem with it. It's great. Draw a sexy girl and put a mask on, a helmet or a mask on her over her face. I'm not into the whole covering the face thing because I like facial expressions in drawings. But you get that a lot. You get that a lot where they want the Boba Fett helmet or they want the Predator mask or whatever. And I'm fine with it. It's just not something I would do on my own because I like seeing the facial expressions,
Yeah, but all you have to do is, put the helmet under her arm or something like that.
And
Okay,
and you can only draw the helmet under the arm so many times. You know what I mean? Before it's like, okay, we've done that. I've drawn her.
Now where are you going to put it?
Right. I've actually drawn it where she's lifting up her helmet. I try,
I feel you. All right, Brian Manel, you're asking the big question, so we'll get in. How much information do you need from a client? We did kind of get into this. In order to do a cover, are one of the things you need fully finished pages of a comic?
No, absolutely not. It'll be a faster process if there's some reference images. Say Philip Russard's launching Tragedy tonight. This is cover 3 for him. All three of them, actually. His first tragedy book, he peeked a couple images of the character's costume, and he told me a little bit about the story. So it's a dancer who gets forced into this life of an assassin, right? That's all I need right there. I know what the costume looks like, and I know what the motif of the character is, so I can put something together. And what I did was I drew her in a dancer's pose. Of course, she's got her weapons, but she's in a dancer's pose. And this is the thing, funny thing, talking about masks. She wears a tragedy mask, like the classic Greek tragedy mask.
Yeah.
And it takes away from her femininity when it's down. So I had her pushing up her mask, like she's starting to lift off her mask, so you could see the femininity of her chin and everything else like that. So it gave her that girl element again. So that's the thing with the masks and the helmets, always offsetting it. But yeah, if a client asks me for a cover on a comic, I need like 1 or 2 reference pictures and a general theme.
Yeah. Or he'll just come at you with his own thing and say, "Hey, I wanted to do this," and you're like, "Yeah, it's pretty great, actually.
This is what I want to do. Here, I'm doing it."
I like that.
You know, and I always joke,
like, what am I going to do for the next one?
Of course, I'm legendary for the edits thing, you know, because I've been drawing literally all day. I was drawing till 10 minutes before I came on here. And so I like to move through things fast because otherwise it really piles up. So when I draw something and I think it's awesome and I send it to an editor or whatever, to a publisher or whatever, or creator, and they come back with edits, I'm like, no, I'm already past that. Like I'm on another cover right now, and you're coming back to me and asking me to change things. No, that's supposed to just get drawn the way it is, you know? And I laugh about it and I'm fine with edits, but it's always like, oh, now I got to go back and change something. I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
So that's where that whole thing about edits comes from. And I have no problem with doing edits, even on commissions or on covers or something like that. But it's like I want to move on to the next thing because I got so many things I got to do.
Well, yeah, and by the time you get the edits, you're probably already however many covers past it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're like, oh, no, that already happened. I already did that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I will literally, like I'll rough out a cover, send it to a publisher, then I'll be roughing out a second cover that day, maybe finishing a commission or something like that. And then the edits come back and I'm like, no, I'm already 3 projects beyond this. Like I was going to come back and do the line work for that. That I don't want to go back and change that now.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. Did he have other questions? No. Oh, he said he hasn't read much manga, but started reading Berserk. Good. Haven't read it yet, but I've heard good things. Yeah. Well, Wendy said. Well, she said there's a difference between porn and art. What about sensual? Everybody loves sensual. Yeah.
Yeah, sensual.
Well, and Wendy, when are you gonna get him to do a cover for you? Come on, Wendy.
Yeah. No, Wendy. I can see. Wendy likes sensual and romantic, I'm thinking. You know, I've seen the Viscarian Tales character, right? So, of course, there are ruffles at the end of her shirt sleeves, you know? Like, I think she likes that whole romantic kind of thing. And to answer her question legitimately, sexy, sensual art is good as long as it doesn't, like you said, delve into porn.
Yeah.
Because it's seductive, and seductive is okay. Because there are definitely characters that should be that way. Vampirella is a seductive character. It's the whole basis of the character, you know, her seduction thing.
Yeah.
So, so seductive is a great way to go on a cover because it kind of skates the whole issue of porn. Romantic is one I don't get a chance to do a lot. I think because people shy away from the boobs. You know, they see the way I usually draw boobs and they go, whoa, you know, well, that's a little. So I don't get a lot of romantic covers, you know, like really fancy dress, kind of, you know, ball gown coming down the staircase, kind of, you know, kind of stuff like that. Well,
now I know what I'm going to have to get you to do.
I'm telling you, I can do it. You know, Nicole Rogers, absolute wonderful person. Had me do a bunch of prints of fairies, elemental fairies. And I had so much fun.
I loved those fairies.
she said, dial down the boobs. And I'm like, no problem. And it was like, she was like, you sure? Like, she didn't know if I could. And I'm like, oh, give me a few seconds. I'll show you I can. Like, people don't think you can dial it back. And so they don't think of you in that vein. And she loved them. They were they had big hips, normal size or smaller. And I just had fun because I played with the wings and everything, all the other elements to make them sexy.
Yeah. Were those the ones you turned into like cards and stuff?
They were cards. She turned them into cards for her store.
We got all those, and those are beautiful, dude. And I met her in Seattle. Yeah, no, I love that. We have that whole set.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because I've been busting Dustin's chops about his Elf Fantasy series. So I told him he should have. Hey Max, I told him he should have titled it EILF.
EILF,
right? Because I want him to do a story about sexy elves. He sends me the script for the first book, and it's a backstory, and there's a lot of fighting going on and carnage and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, don't freaking go to horror again, because Dustin loves going to horror stories. So here I'm talking dirt. This is smack, people. Pay attention. This is smack talking. So Dustin, when he gets a chance, goes right to horror. It's what he's used to. I'm like, dude, this is fantasy, RPG. Make it sexy, make it fun. So yeah, Lewis upset about that. But anyway, so for the first elf cover, and it's not this. I think the title of it is Fallen Leaves or Fallen Leaf or something like that. But for the first elf cover, I do something so freaking romantic, beautiful, and elegant that people aren't even going to think it's probably me. Well, they will, because the face, the way I draw a girl's face is kind of distinctive. But oh, it's got scroll work, it's got falling leaves, it's got an ornate dress. Like, it doesn't look like what I usually do, because I told Dustin, I said, let's go full tilt, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't get a chance to do it a lot. Dustin's one of those creators who just goes, yeah, do it. Like you, beer pong, let's do it. Yep, done. Like this Belial cover that we just did.
Oh,
I'm like, I want to do this. Chuck's like, okay.
Go for it.
It's like, no
yeah, you already had it. And I mean, you did that with both of them, where you basically drew it up and you're like, what are you thinking? I was like, good, let's roll with it. And you're like, what do we do to the shirt? Actually, I have a really good idea for the shirt. I'm going to contact this band.
That was freaking cool. And then I'm not going to give it away, but what's his name? What's the imp's name again? Damn, I always forget his name.
Link.
What Link's holding. You guys got to pay attention to what Link's holding on the cover. It's hysterical. It's just, and it was one of my favorite things, because it was like, oh, I came up with this idea, I drew something, and then Kerry said something, and I said, oh, that would be good. And then I'm like, oh, no, wait, we'll do this. It was one of those things where we bounced the idea back and forth, and we came up with that final idea on that cover for just that little corner. I love those things where it's just a little thing on the corner of the cover, but it makes the cover, it's just that last final piece. It's
the Easter egg. Yeah.
Yep. It's absolutely perfect.
Davey Lisa says, I came in at a saucy bit. It's all been saucy bits. Dude, it didn't matter when you came in. Eric said, this is funny. He said, it just occurred to me that I don't know anything about Stef's background. Stef doesn't do backgrounds. You should know that about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys already discuss that? I was a little late.
I don't think I gave my origin story.
I think he's asking about your art background.
My art background. You can
if you want.
I'll make it quick. It's not a long story. My mom made me draw a lot as a kid. She made me do a lot of things that didn't involve TV as a kid. So drawing was one of them. Mm-hmm. Then I played some Dungeons and Dragons. I drew a little bit for that. Then I discovered cars, college, and career in that order, and I stopped drawing entirely. I didn't pick up drawing again until I sold off a lot of stuff on eBay, old collections, Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff, Magic the Gathering. When I sold all my collections on eBay, I got addicted to selling on eBay. Back then, it was a lot of fun. And Carrie looked at me and said, why don't you sell drawings that you do? And I'm like, I haven't done that in years. And so my art background consisted of that moment. I mean, I always appreciated art, but at that moment, I just started drawing and selling on eBay. And that was about 8 years ago, 9 years ago. No, 8 years ago.
So
that's
what
my
was
art
the
background.
point? What was the point where you went, fuck it, I'm going to go full tilt?
That would be Carrie's fault. What happened was I was selling on eBay. I was coming home from work and selling drawings on eBay. And I would come home and just start drawing every night because they were selling so fast. And at one point, I forget what the dollar amount was. eBay said it's not a hobby anymore. We're gonna submit your information for taxes. So it was like, okay, wait, this is now a side business. So the side business was doing relatively well, and Carrie figured out that right after I started getting covers, that or right around the time I started getting covers, Carrie said we can make the side business our whole business if we go all in. So she convinced me to go all in. And
so you just quit your job and said, fuck it, let's do this?
Yeah, part of it was, that's one of the reasons we ended up in Cape Cod, is state taxes in Jersey will kill you, absolutely kill you. And you can literally half your mortgage by moving to another state. Because at times your state taxes were more than your mortgage payment. So part of it was, if we move to Cape Cod with the equity we have, looking for this type of a house, doing this, now not paying these state taxes that we're paying in Jersey, if we turn this into a business and do this all at once, it'll work. And that's the way Carrie is. Carrie doesn't just jump in the pool. She jumps in the deep end of the pool. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I need that because I'm a total stick in the mud without her. But she basically said, let's jump in the deep end of the pool. And I'm like, oh, frick. But she's right. The numbers all made sense if we did it all at the same time. It was a bitch, but it worked.
Yeah. So, not asking for numbers, obviously, because that's not cool. But compared to your old job, how does it add up?
I would say I was making more myself in my career at times than I'm making now. But Carrie was also, with her career, making more than she's making right now, say. But combined, the two of us doing this together as a business, and I'm talking the business side of it, it's pretty damn comparable. So as much as there were times where in my career I was making more money personally, her and I working together in this business are getting close to those numbers again. And it's just growing. So it was,
you can only do better.
It was kind of the thing where if we step back a little bit from an income level, we don't got to work for the man anymore. We can be working for ourselves, and we can be working together. And that's the whole thing too. I could go, I was doing 60, 70 hours a week at a job that, it's HR. I enjoyed the job, but I didn't necessarily enjoy the companies that I worked with and stuff like that. So here it is. We can do what we want to do and make comparable money. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And, there are artists out there right now. And if anybody's watching this and they're doing part-time art, do it until you're making enough money that you can step away from whatever it is you're doing regularly. And I've had people say, well, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Well, it didn't happen for me for 9 years. So unless you're coming to me with 9 years of selling on eBay, and I'm talking selling thousands of dollars worth of art on eBay every year for 9 years before you can make the jump, then don't tell me you don't think you're going to be able to make the jump. It may be a longer process than you think, but you just got to be patient and keep doing it as a side gig, or decide that you don't have the fortitude to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not
Davey Lisa's
saying be realistic.
Yeah, of course. Davey Lisa is grateful for those people who take the sticks from the mud and wave it around. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I am such a stick in the mud. The problem is I'm just way too practical, I look at, part of it too is my career did not help with engagement strategy and friction points and everything else that I dealt with at work and process improvement. I've always seen failure points in everything, and I see it in everything I do. So Carrie's like, no, let's do it. Let's have some fun. Carrie's definitely the brains of the business.
Yeah.
Very much so. She's got me on a production schedule. She keeps me in line. She keeps the vision going too, because I will just knuckle down and just keep drawing till I pass out, kind of thing. But she keeps me focused on what I should be doing. So
I've seen times, and
at the same time, she's got to do all the work of coloring. You've seen my lines, Chuck. Chuck, you've seen my lines because I've submitted.
I have seen your lines.
there ain't a hell of a lot going on there. Wait, here, I'll show you. I'll give you a sneak for your show. So this is going to be for Wendy. And I'm probably not supposed to be showing it. Cute, right? There's that cute thing.
That's beautiful.
You draw something cute. Look at her hair. Look at all those curls. Anyway, those are my lines, people. There ain't a hell of a lot going on that page. It's an outline of what has to get colored. So Carrie does the majority of the work.
Yep.
I am not lying. I'm not saying that to be facetious. I'm not saying that because, I'm seriously. Oops. Sorry, Wendy.
No.
Don't worry. Nobody watches Chuck's show. So.
No, I'm not even watching.
I know, right? So I give Carrie an outline that she has to do all the work on, and she runs the business.
She's wondering why you're not drawing now.
See, there it is. She even said that we kind of finished for the day, and I knew I had to do this live stream. And she looked at me and she goes, "Do you want to after dinner? You want to do some video games, or do you want to keep working?" And she literally said that, and I was thinking, yeah, maybe. And she goes, "No, we can do some work." Like it wasn't even an option. It's like, yeah, we're getting back to work. I'm like, fuck.
So if you play video games, what do you play?
Actually, Carrie and I are. We have an Xbox 360, so that tells you how far back. And we got that free, so we don't have an updated video game system. Carrie and I played video games back when they were on computers, before there were, like real video games. I mean, you could get Atari and play like Pong and crap like that, but the first RPG games were entirely on computers, or they were really crappy. So we liked those kind of storytelling games or whatever. So right now we're playing Dungeon Siege 3.
Okay.
It's not a graphic marvel. It's what, 2012 or something like that, 2016 maybe when it came out. So it's pretty old school, but we enjoy it. So it's because it's relaxing, because it's not, dude, I want to play like Medal of Honor. I do. I want to play like Call of Duty, those kind of games. I want to play those games, but I would get fucking killed in the first 2 minutes because I have no clue what I'm doing on video games.
So here's what myself, Eric, and our buddy Braden do. You're gonna laugh at us, but you'll understand the idea. Fortnite.
Okay.
Fortnite is a game. Very much in that same, you run around, shoot people, blah, blah, blah. It's a battlegrounds game. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
The reason we play it is everyone's always like, oh, I'm not going to play that game. It's for fucking kids. Great. I can kill kids.
Right.
Like, I can do well against a child.
Right.
So whenever we're talking, I'll be like, hey, you want to slaughter some kids? Yeah, I do. Let's go. One time I messaged Eric. I'm like, hey, do you want to kill some kids? And he's like, I'm at a Cub Scout meeting right now. That didn't come out really good, and I'm glad no one saw my phone.
Like the way you meant.
But we play it all the time.
If I break from work and I go play a video, like I played Tomb Raider right from the start, the first one, the Eidos game. Okay, run, jump, click, run, jump, right, click, jump, right, and you get out the trap. Like, holy frig, it was like memorizing key buttons to get through levels. December!
Hey, girl!
Playing that Tomb Raider game was more stressful at times than it was fun. So, I'm going to play on casual level. I'm going to want a game that isn't going to kick my ass. Not because I don't want the challenge, but because I'm trying to fucking relax. Not try to, you know what I mean? So, it's just like, it's even like with Dungeons and Dragons, because Carrie and I have been playing Zoom meeting wise with Wendy and Bill. And we've been utilizing it with Zoom meeting and stuff. I don't want to play 5th edition. Like, I never got into 5th edition because I was already onto girls and cars and then college by the time that stuff rolled out. So I have no knowledge of 5th edition other than I don't want this much going on. It shouldn't be this complicated. There shouldn't be proficiencies and this and slots and spell slots and holy fucking hell. Why am I, if I want flow charts and pivot tables, I'll go back to my fucking career. Like Dungeons and Dragons, you push down the door, you kill some freaking goblins, you loot the chest if it's not a mimic, and you go to the next room. When did this become so complicated?
All right. Here's my question for you then, and this will tell us
Wizard gets one spell,
what you're
not
playing.
15 trips and spell components. Who gives a fuck about spell components? Go ahead.
Here's the. Oh, we have a Facebook user. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Facebook user. Sorry about
going to StreamYard so we know who you are.
Nothing past second edition. Exactly. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, what's your Thaco?
Exactly. Dude, I have in a frame in the box. Wait, I'll show it to you.
Eric says Chuck didn't give me a heads up that he was going to expose me as a Fortnite player. That's okay. Oh, dude, what the hell is that? Holy shit!
It's not the first book they ever put out, but it's probably the second. And here's
wow.
the thing. I walked into a hobby store as a teenager, and that book was available for sale on the shelf. I don't think it was new, but it was probably only a few years old.
That's the same one?
Huh?
That's the exact same book? Oh, wow.
That is the book I bought at that hobby store. It's one of the few things I kept. Right about that time, B2 Keep on the Borderlands came out. So that's about the time period we're talking. But that was my first Dungeons & Dragons book. It's not wholly complicated. It is this thick. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I think 5th edition sounds wonderful. Looks gorgeous. I love the complexity of it. But I don't want to get that fucking complex if I just want to play a game and kill a couple kobolds and get a little bit of treasure. Like, I get if you can do that, but I think there's a lot of people who don't have that kind of time. It used to be sit down, graph paper, roll some 6-sided dice, come up with your stats, play a game. Like, I love that people can story build to the level they do with RPGs, but sometimes you just want to play a freaking game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than just a good one-shot, man.
You know, it's basic. Yeah, like when you just want to get a bunch of people together and play a Fortnite. You're doing it to clear your mind. You're doing it to, I don't want to think heavy. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like Carrie and I were playing that Dungeon Siege, and we're, like I said, we're bad at video games because we don't play them. And so we got whopped around by a boss like twice or 3 times, right? Killed 3 times in a row by some boss level. I go right to my phone, walk through. Let me find the walkthrough. Oh, this is what we got to. You know why? Not because I don't want to sit there for the next hour figuring it out. I want to play through the game and move on. So
I want the story. I don't want the fucking. I'm not there for the challenge.
Right, exactly. And you know why? Because
life is challenging enough.
Yeah, you know, and the one thing that always annoyed me is that, like when I was playing the Lara Croft game, if she's got to dodge to the right and dodge to the left, and then shoot and then roll and then dodge and then flip back to get out of the trap. Well, most people are going to freaking die. But if you're as qualified as Lara Croft to go into tombs, you're going to do that shit instinctively. In other words, Lara Croft isn't pressing buttons and moving levers in the right sequence to do that. She's just instinctively going to move through the trap the way she would as a Tomb Raider. So you're forcing me to replicate what an expert does with buttons and the right sequence of buttons at the right time. Whereas, like, that takes the fun away. I want to see Lara Croft do that, not have to make her do that because I'm not as qualified as she is.
Have you played Stefan Warrior on the Game Boy? I've never heard of that.
God. you can skip.
Is that a thing?
No. No.
See, when he says second edition is still my favorite.
Yeah, you know, like second that's as far as I got in was second edition. So.
We had like all the second books, like the main, the like the Ranger's Handbook, the Bard's Handbook, all those.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hey, by the way, if you guys ever need a 5th, let me know. I would totally be down to play.
Dude, you know, it was so fun because we're piecing it together with this. Oh, wait, I'll show you because I'm not even looking at comments, which I was from.
Oh, it's Heather. Heather was the Facebook user.
So this is the board game. They have a bunch of these, and we're using the tiles because we're doing it as a Zoom meeting, and graph paper would be a freaking nightmare. So we're using the tiles from the game box. And because I don't have my D&D collection anymore, we're using the miniatures from the game box to create our own Dungeons & Dragons game using the pieces from this game because they work better for a Zoom meeting kind of thing. So we're building dungeons and everything else like that with that. And it's hilarious fun because we're limited on the amount of monsters that were in this set, and soon we'll be using other sets. But so I did kobolds, you know, and a couple other monsters. And of course they leveled up. So then it was zombie kobolds. And they thought that was too easy. So then they became infested zombie kobolds. So every time they hit, they had to go through a fungus attack. So it was hysterical. We were just like creating up monsters on the fly that could be slightly more competitive than the last ones they killed. So, yeah, I'm a nerd. Yeah.
Brian says, my clear my mind game is usually Madden NFL. I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not a sports guy, but I get that.
And a game that you're comfortable playing that's easy for you to play is relaxing. So,
yeah.
You know, like Crash Kart Racing. I love Crash Kart Racing. It's not an overthinking game. I know it. It's not a sophisticated game. I know it. It's just fun to zoom around the track as Crash Bandicoot.
Mario Kart? Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a great game. William says, I love the art of the later editions and have monster books for editions I've never played. Dude, I like the art for all of them. Like, I mean...
I know, right?
Dude, there's...
Right? The art is
great.
Keith
Parkinson and fucking... Dude, there were so many amazing old school artists. Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I grew up with, like, Larry Elmore and all those classic artists. But I love the Warcraft art. The chunky armor, you know, like the real graphic chunky, the Minotaur's got a real big chin and big horns and big shoulder things. Like, and all the rivets are really huge. It's really kind of cool and graphic and neat. I wish they had that when I was playing D&D.
Right. Wendy says, have you ever drawn a dragon, Steph? I don't remember seeing one. We drew a dragon with you on your show.
Yes. And I think I'm looking at the Great Wall of Comics here.
You draw Luna.
Wait, here it is. Yeah, I've drawn Luna. I've drawn a couple. They come up in Wendy's books because she has elements of fantasy in her books. So there's a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
There's a dragon, but there's boobs behind. You know, boobs are hiding it, but, you know, there's a dragon there.
You got the important stuff on there. You're good.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. Okay. I start learning Dungeons & Dragons as a kid, and I start drawing. What are the first things I start drawing? Elf chicks.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even draw orcs. I mean, I guess there's guys out there who would have drawn orcs. But 5 minutes after I decided, I could combine drawing with Dungeons & Dragons, I started drawing elf chicks.
Yeah.
100th cover. Carrie's filling in. That's our 100th cover. Actually, our 200th is coming up. I'm probably supposed to know when that is, and I was probably supposed to say it on the show.
Do we know which one the 200? Is it going to be Wendy again?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Because I'm holding back Belial so that we are the 200th cover.
Oh, is that your plan?
That's the only reason. Yeah. We dude, that book has been done for years. I just held it back so that we'd be the 200th.
Carrie has this all plotted out.
I know. I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. You know, she puts our covers, all this information into spreadsheets. She whips that stuff around, data, pivot tables. She knows our top supporters, our top customers, our who we get the most cover work from, down to the dime. She's amazing.
Wow. I mean, dude, I think we all need someone like that.
God, we do. We absolutely do. I am so lucky. Because as much as she's creative, she's also has this business sense.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got OCD, that's fine. But for me, a note on a piece of paper in the right spot is fine. But Carrie can access all this information because she has the business sense. So she can troll through all the data.
Right. And speaking of Wendy and her dragons, I am so excited about the Luna book.
I know, the Luna Tales.
Oh my gosh. Did you ever see my story? Did she show it to you?
No.
I'm so fucking proud of it.
No, she didn't.
I'm so proud of it. She did the art for it. And I wrote that and I was so fucking excited because when I was done, I was like, that is cute as fuck. Like I just felt so good about it. It was Luna, and she gets a new power, and it's fun and it's cute. And
Yeah, I got to see. I did a cover. I got suckered into doing. I'm trying to think of the right terminology. Forced, strong armed into doing panels for one of the stories. God, I hate fucking panel work like you would not believe, my friends. Nothing more. You know, what I want to do is I want to draw. I would draw panels if I could do this. Give me a 9x12 piece of paper because that's my standard thing I work with, right? More than anything. Covers 11x17. But give me a 9x12 and let me draw each panel in 9x12, and then you put them wherever the fuck you want. If somebody would let me do that, I would have no problem doing interiors. If you need to shrink it, make it bigger, do whatever you want with it. If I can draw it in 9x12, then I would just draw a series of 400 9x12s, and you can make yourself a comic book out of it. But
that's actually an interesting idea.
Page layout is a bitch. People who do that work, all props to people who do that work.
She says, "Squee, new powers for Luna." It's true. Dude, I'm just so excited.
It's such a cute story. It's such a cute storybook.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. Wendy, I know I keep asking this, and I'm sorry. When do we have an idea when that's gonna be? I know that other things have gotten in the way and all that sort of stuff, but when he says you're on the hook now, she's gonna get you to do that.
The panels, all the panels. Yeah, and I'm actually already putting together probably my first entire book. So that'll be something that I'm going to be doing on my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've co-created 2 things that are in the works right now. So it's just like, all right, like Carrie's like, stop giving your ideas away. Like Carrie literally said, stop giving your ideas away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't like doing interiors. And she's like, well, get over it. So this third idea, which is pretty phenomenal, we're going to be doing, and I got to get started working on that probably really soon. It's tough with the art books and everything else like that to squeeze these things
in. If you need an editor.
But anyway, with the Luna Tales, I think the holdup is there was some issues with the challenge coin for the Kickstarter that she had. And she's making that right. And making that right is taking a little bit more time. And so she wanted to fulfill before she thought of bringing Luna Tales out. She wants to make sure that everybody has their stuff from the previous Kickstarter. So that's probably the most recent delay.
That makes sense. Well, good for you, Wendy.
That's responsibility. That's looking for your fans.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's really important. Yeah.
Dude, have you been this guy the whole show and I just noticed that?
What do you mean?
Your name.
Yeah,
that's freaking hilarious.
Wendy said partway through, well, what did I do? I did it like probably 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in, Wendy was like, you should be this guy. I was like, all right, cool, I'll change it.
I just noticed it. That's freaking hilarious. Are we ignoring people's questions? Are we ignoring comments? I always feel bad when we're ignoring comments.
No. I'm always bringing them up and stuff. We miss some along the way, but usually it's just like other people chatting or random comments and stuff. But
they're having fun with each other. I don't care. Yeah, no. I don't want to miss any of those important Brian Manel questions. Yeah. And I love making fun of him and stuff. But he brings great questions to your shows. Like freaking, you can tell he's paying attention to the content of the shows because he's following along and has great questions.
I'm gonna be honest. I just had like my computer just freaked out or my phone freaked out, and I missed all of that.
Oh, okay. I was saying that Brian.
All of it. You were just like click, click, click.
Oh no! I always make fun of Brian, but he brings really great questions to the creators and stuff that you have on your show. Like every time Brian asks a question, you learn something. So as much as I make fun of him, I really appreciate him slinging the question.
Yeah. Right? Look at this. Sorry, work said no, and my attention went away. That's okay, buddy. We get it. Well, I mean, what were you going to ask him? You know?
Right. I draw boobs. You know, the one thing I don't get enough credit for is the butts that I draw, because I think I do a much better job on butts.
It's true. Sarah loves your butts.
I think I've improved because they used to just be circles. I won't lie, because I like bubble butts.
Yeah.
But they've gotten a lot shapier lately. So I think that's my new goal, is to work on ass shots. Like, I definitely want to do a bent over a motorcycle, leg spread ass shot, just to show, I've arrived.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure we can make that happen at some point.
Oh, I'm sure. It sounds like a Belial cover already. Has nothing to do with the
It
story,
does.
but it works.
Wendy wants more side boob. Under boob,
Side
yes.
boob.
Under
God, side
boob is my absolute favorite.
Dude, I have patented. I think I've patented. I have trademark pending. Double side boob. People are like, what? Huh? And I'm like, it's the way you can draw it. You just got to draw it right. You can get side boob on each side.
Or you can have two people with different sides.
Well,
That's what's great about adding more figures.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris says under boob is your specialty.
Under boob is such a seller. I got to get this out because this is the time to talk shit. Publishers who ask for a cover, they say, oh, what's your cover rate? I'm like, oh, well, it depends on the details and everything else. Okay, well, and they get into this thing, and it's like, okay, I'm trying to tell you, it's about the amount of time that it's going to take. So don't try and get me on a rate, like a set rate, because that set rate may be the rate I'm going to quote you might be for one figure with some background. But then they come back, they want 3 characters and a cityscape and blah, blah, blah. But the weird thing is I actually have had discussions with artists who are creators where I'm having to argue why it would be more, because like, it's all about the time. Like, so whether you're getting a commission from me or you're getting a cover from me or anything like that, I'm not making these numbers up as I go along. I'm estimating the amount of time it's going to take me to complete whatever it is your vision is. And if that involves a jungle scape, then that's more time. And if it involves 3 girls, not 1, that's more time. Like I don't understand why there's a pushback. It's like, you just asked for 3 things. Like, I used to get that with commissions all the time. How much for commission? Here. Well, okay, single figure this. Well, if I want 2 girls, well, then it's pretty much double. Oh, I still have to draw 2 girls. Whether I draw them on 2 separate pieces of paper or 1 piece of paper, it's the same. You know what I mean? Like, people would think, oh, well, you know what? If it costs me $200, it's going to cost me $250 to add another girl in. No, it's going to cost you $400. Why? Because there's 2 freaking girls. They still have to be drawn. So it just always blows my mind. People are like, I don't understand what the problem is. I'm like, do the math.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree with you there. I totally feel. That's why I'm always like, what do you feel like drawing? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had a tattoo artist. No, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's about time. How long they got to sit there with the needle inking the tattoo. Like if you're going to edit a short story or edit a novel, there's a different rate. It doesn't matter that it's one work. It matters the length of time that it's going to take to go through that work. So.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I had a tattoo artist who was working on the back of my leg, and as he's working, there's a moon on the back of my leg, and he said, "Hey, man, it looks cool, but it would look really good with some punchy colors. I'm thinking about throwing in some browns and blues and stuff." And I'm like, "Go ahead, do whatever you want." He's like, well, "Really?" And I was like, "Dude, you're the artist. You know what's gonna look good. It's on the back of my leg." So you fucking and I find like you get the best out of your artists by just being like, you know what the fuck you're doing. Go do it. Go have fun, man.
Right. How many tattoos has he done? And if you picked him as your artist, it's because you liked his work.
Yeah.
He's gonna know what's best in that particular situation.
So Brian Manel, you called him out. Now he's got questions, it looks like.
All right.
Here's an interesting one, maybe, but I'm sure. Oh, depends on the story. Okay, wait. What kind of qualities, mistakes, or important facets separates good covers from bad covers? Okay.
All right. Well, thematically, if the cover doesn't make sense to the comic, If there isn't some sort of tie-in, that's technically a bad cover. But on the other hand, if the cover sells a lot of the book for the publisher, that's a good cover. So, like Belial, the beer pong, there was an element in there. Was there a Hooters waitress in Belial? No, but the beer pong element was there, and you saw all the characters, so it kind of all worked together. So sometimes things just come together that way. But what makes a really great cover really is if the image that's on the cover helps you sell your book. In my mind, if it helps you sell your book, if it showcases your book, because Philip Russert was just talking about it. The story could be fantastic inside, but unfortunately, like books in a bookstore or products on the shelf, if people aren't looking at if they don't like the packaging, they might not pick it up. Now, the guy who's walking by in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle costume that you can sell to with a speech will buy your book because you talk to him into buying your book. But sometimes you need that silent sale of a particular cover that appeals to people. And it doesn't have to be a sexy chick. It's just got to be a cover that appeals to people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, even like you're talking thematically, you don't yes, there's not a Hooters waitress in Belial, but there is a bar. So that aspect is still there thematically. Everything made sense. It was one little element that didn't necessarily fit, but it didn't matter because it was funny, and that made it even better. Where the fuck is a Hooter girl in hell? Who cares? It's great. It's funny. No one cares.
I kind of, when I did the cover, and I kind of, because I read Belial 1, which, by the way, was the first time I ever asked somebody for a comic book.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, you talked about it. I'm like, what the fuck? I need to get this comic book, and I don't buy a comic book. So I was like, no, you know what? The way this guy's talking, I think I need to read this comic. And I was right, I did. But yeah, Belial takes place in a bar. So I was like, okay, bar scene, like no brainer. Like at least it's part of the story and it shows the story in some way.
Right. Well, Wendy's already got you booked. She says, I know the cover I want from you, Steph. Book 3, Brunella on the beach.
Yeah, there you go.
There you are. 2 girls, only 1 pencil, right?
2 girls, 1 pencil. Nice.
Oh, here's a sassy Luis Torres question. Would conjoined twins be the rate of 1 or 2 figures? 1.5 at least.
And actually, I charged one guy more on a commission because the composition. Like I thought of his request. There was the composition. You got to meld 2 figures together and make them work in the same space. It's fine if you want Rogue here and Red Sonja next to her. That's not hard. But when you want the figures interacting, there's some compositional elements. So it becomes the difference between writing a grocery list and composing a short story. So when I quoted the Marie, he's like, wow, that's like more than twice. And I'm like, because I have to work everything together. So yeah, that can also be a problem. Is sometimes, as much as Lewis's question was facetious, obviously if there's compositional elements, that's going to change the rate. Uh-oh, Chuck froze. I hope I didn't freeze. So I think Chuck's frozen. At least it's frozen on my phone. Let me see. Does anybody else see him? I seem to still be moving. Oh, it's a solo show. That's cool. Yeah, I actually read Belial, Chris. I actually read Belial because I asked them to send it to me. I mean, I paid for it, but I still. Thanks, Eric, for letting me know. Yeah, Chuck's internet went out. That's okay. These things happen. Are you back?
I am.
It's okay. I was just going through the
comments.
Thank you. Shit, that stuff happens, man.
Yeah, my internet's fucked up today.
How many covers am I working on right now? There's the one I just showed you, which I'm just finishing up. I've got one in the scanner for Carrie. I just gave her 2 more today. There's 3 on my board, so 8 this week.
Wow.
I know.
I was going to say, how many do you... I know Carrie does.
What's that? Go ahead.
I know Carrie keeps count of this, but do you know how many Kickstarters you've been on so far this year?
Yeah, she's got a number somewhere, but I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. You know what I need? The funny thing is, what I need is a retailer. I need an online retailer. You know, one of these people that sells variant covers for different projects. You know, like I was talking about Red Sonja or Dynamite. You see a lot of artists have Red Sonja or Dynamite covers. They don't have Vampirella or Red Sonja covers. They have a retailer exclusive Red Sonja or Vampirella cover. It's not actually something that's distributed. There's 50 made, and that comic book shop is selling it online or in their stores. I don't have any retailers. I need to get retailers because you can get a lot more cover work through retailers because they reach out to, say, Dynamite, and they get a retailer exclusive, and then they pick an artist for it. But I don't have any like that. That's something I need. But
have you tried talking to someone like Joe Massimo or something?
Yeah, you know, like Joe does his, but he has certain titles that he only works with. I need a couple of retailers that have a little bit broader reach kind of thing. You know, like a Comic Mint but you know, that's Shannon Mayer level. They do a whole different level of artist. So I'm just looking for some smaller time kind of stuff. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, you know, like all the people watching the show, all the people that back my stuff, that's why I'm where I am as far as covers. So yeah, I have 8 covers this week because people ask, what is he doing?
He's a professional streamer. Thank you.
But that's why I have 8 covers this week because of people like Sarah and Krista Hahn and Lewis. And Lewis doesn't do enough comics. That's the problem.
Really?
Yeah, he gets bent because I'm doing covers for other people. Like right now, he's pissed because I'm doing a lot of Dustin covers. That's because Dustin has a lot of comics. But Lewis has, you know, X amount of titles, and he rolls them out in sequence. Well, I can't do covers if you don't have comics coming out, you know?
Come on, Lewis, you're getting called out right now.
I'm telling
you. Where's your next book?
Dude, I do this with all the publishers. Wendy. I love Wendy. Wendy needs more titles. That's why we just came up with a title that we're going to do with Wendy. So, yeah, I might even show you a peek in messages. I'll send you a peek in messages because it's definitely up your alley. Something you're going to like. But yeah, all these publishers, I love them. And I know they've got other jobs. Later, Brian. They've got other jobs. They've got to go to work. And this is their part-time, you know, kind of thing. But it's such a shame because they're such great creators like Wendy and Lewis, such great stories, such great creators. And it's a shame that they can't produce more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they could do 6 issues a year, of course they would. I know they can't, but it's just a shame because I'd love to see their work getting out more. Yeah, see, and that's a lot for him to have to do around a full-time job. And he's really good about he's gonna release it. It's going to fund, he's going to ship it, and then when everything's shipped, he's going to launch the next one. So he has to go in sequence. And fulfillment takes a while when you're one-man band.
Yeah, absolutely. Holy shit. I'm a little worried now that we're... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, we've got Belial happening this year. We've got Wendy's book happening. Like I'm like, ooh, fulfillment. We're not used to doing even more than one book every couple of years. So doing 2 in 1 year.
Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Essence House, you've got Thulu stuff, you've got Belial with Sean Barber, you've got. I'm sure you put in some effort on Viscarian Tales. Or is it just Marauders Is it Marauders Oh God, I don't know. Masquerade?
Well, it's both. It's Viscarian Tales, Marauders Masquerade.
Gotcha. Is that this story arc is called Marauders Masquerade?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. But anyway, all of those things sound like so-and-so with Chuck Pennell. So-and-so with Chuck Pennell and Eric Cockroft. Where is the Chuck Pennell book?
I do have one issue.
With somebody else. What is your comic story? What are we not hearing? Where is your own personal story?
I have one issue of my book, and the second issue is almost done. It's called Welcome to the Void.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, you know what I mean? Like, you know, JT Malloy has his Sapphire Spectre.
Yeah.
He might work with other people on other stuff, but he has his story. I just want to know where your story was.
You know what's so funny is I'm so fucking Canadian in that I feel guilty if I'm not taking care of other stuff. Where where is more welcome to the void? So like if I'm not, I don't feel guilty if my stuff doesn't get done because I'm like, fuck, whatever. That'll happen when it happens. But like, when we're behind on Belial, that's my fault. Fuck, I got to make that happen. When we're behind on Essence House, that's my fault. I got to make that happen.
I know, I get it.
But I never feel that way about Welcome to the Void, even though I would love to get it out. And I've had people kicking my ass saying, why is issue 2 not out? Issue 2's not out because I don't have a partner going, what the fuck, dude?
Right. No, I get it. It's funny because I chat with Bill McKay, and Kim the Delusional was a book that he was planning on coming out with all along. And he worked on it here and there in between cons and everything else like that. COVID hit, and he stopped going to as many cons. He got a lot of work done on the book, right? And he's doing all the illustration on in the interiors and stuff. So he's not only had to write the story and do some of the covers, he had to do all the interiors and stuff. And if you've seen his artwork, it's meticulous and it takes a long time. So he did all that artwork for Kim the Delusional. And then he actually talked about that he wasn't going to do as many cons because it allows him to get more work done, right? So he was going to pick and choose his shows a little more carefully. Dan Mendoza got Zombie Tramp back. Zombie Tramp is a huge list of covers that Bill's got to do for retailers and everything else and cons and everything. So, like you, Bill immediately is now doing Zombie Tramp covers, and his own personal project is now going to take forever. Wait, I got to show this. Carrie wants to go to bed, but she wants me to. That's our next art book coming out.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Oh, can you show me the back cover?
Yeah.
Wait, we're going to give you. Nobody's seen the back cover yet, but it's just funny.
I thought you were going to. It's so dumb. I thought you were going to turn it around.
No, because they've seen interior shows on the page. Yeah, it's an iPad. Can't just turn it around. Hold on. Here it comes. Because we were talking about Savage Land Rogue.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yup, and there's that butt. That's what sells comics, to answer Brian's question. That's what makes a good comic cover right there. And there it is. See the patented double side boob. You got side boob on.
I was just going to say double side boob.
Double side boob. Nobody else can pull it off with me. Man, that came out really good. You didn't even show me that one.
I just did it today.
Okay, you can go to bed.
Good night, Carrie.
Good night.
Hey, when are we going to get you on a show without this fucker?
I know. She should be on her own show.
Let me know. Whenever.
Okay. Yeah. I want the brains behind whatever the hell he's supposed to be.
She's a much more informative and better interview than I would ever be.
Yeah, but I said it at the very beginning of the show. One thing that so many of our contemporaries don't think about is the entertainment value. And I think that's where you and I tend to shine and be able to kind of step up, is that we're like, no. Have some fucking fun with this, man. Like, you're working in comics.
Yeah. Even like busting Dustin's chops about his Fallen Leaf comic, calling it EILF. Like, I'm playing that because that's promotion. I mean, I'm doing it because it's hilarious and I like to have fun.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I'm doing it because it's hilarious and I like to have fun. But at the same time, it's also promotion. Like, people want to know what this Elf I'd Like to F book is about. And that's not what the book is about. That's all right. As long as they're looking. As long as they're coming looking. Yeah. And so I love to have that kind of fun. And social media is perfect for that, for me. I love that kind of interaction.
I am now. Don't worry. You'll catch up to it, Wendy. Yeah, see? Way to catch up. No, I feel you. Well, it's like this morning. As soon as I said, hey, Stef's on the show tonight, you and I were back and forth. I was fucking door dashing, and then I would hit a Wi-Fi spot and be like, what did that asshole say? All right, let's do it. I'm back. That picture that I put up of that truck, that was on my route today. I swear, that was today. I stopped outside of a house, and I left the house, and I saw that, and I was like, that's fucking Stef Wilson. That shit's going up.
When I saw you post that picture, I'm like, what does he have that in his photo file? Where does he find a picture?
That was today.
with those phrases on it. Like, there's things you can search, but I'm like, what did he search for? Truck with panties down signs on it? Like, what the frick?
He is good.
But what was hysterical about that truck picture, when I looked at it closely, so there was something about panties down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something about boobies, right? It seemed like sexist, redneck, kind of, but on the corner, on the far side, it says, "I eat ass."
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, this guy's got more refined taste than I would have thought. Because I'm not thinking your usual pickup truck, panties down, redneck is that sophisticated. So I was like, wow, this guy's a little more sophisticated than I thought.
No, it was perfect timing. Literally saw that thing and I was like, oh yeah, click. That thing's happening right now.
It was such perfect timing because I couldn't even figure out where the hell did he find this photo. Like, I'm like, how the hell did he have this photo on file?
That is good. Yeah, no, like I said, yeah, see, Wendy says, that's Texas. Yeah, it is. Well, and what's even funnier is the place I delivered it to, it had a bunch of kids' bicycles on the lawn. So I was like, dude, do you pick your kids up from fucking school in that thing? I'm sure he does.
I'm sure of it.
Right? Like the poor kid friends and people are walking up going, so your dad's the eat ass truck, huh?
The funny thing is, I don't know, maybe kids are more aware, but if there were balls hanging off the back of a pickup truck when I was a kid, remember even the steel balls that you could buy?
Truck nuts.
The bull's ball. Right. Okay. So if I was a kid, I would be giggling and snorting every time I saw that. So when these things come out, I'm like you said, like, do you have kids? Like, what's their reaction to a set of bull's balls, steel bull balls hanging off the back of your pickup truck? Like, how do you explain that to kids? Better yet, is that something you want to have an explanation for your kids for? Like, there's a lot of things you got to explain. Why are you adding to the mix?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like, Daddy, what do metal bull's balls mean on the back of your pickup truck? Why is that a question you want to be fielding with all the other questions you're going to have to answer with kids?
Yeah. Yeah, like you want more stuff?
Yeah, like if you're single, whatever, I get it. But yeah, I'm not getting it sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just making more work for yourself at some point.
Well, though I'm sure there's a lot of that, like, kind of silent masculinity where, some kid shows up and says, hey, Dad, what does this mean? He goes, mind your own business. Okay. Don't worry, I have the internet. I'll find out. I don't need you.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Marseille walks in and says, I seriously walked into this kid's and metal bull balls.
Sorry, Marseille.
You're not the first person to say I walked into something fucked up. I'm like, yeah, it's the whole conversation.
This is the thing people don't get that is so much fun about what I do is the people that I meet. So Marseille, absolute mushbot, absolute sweetheart, absolute wonderful person, right? What I love is the things I learn about people or learn from people that I get to meet through doing this. Marseille has a complete obsession with massive, luxurious comic book hair. There's some character, Luxura or something like that.
I saw that today, yeah.
Yeah. She loves that character, Luxura or whatever, who just has like curly, massive mane of hair going down to like her ankles. I just love learning about, because I don't get that kind of interaction with, say, people I would meet, like my neighbors or something. So it's kind of cool that I can connect with people who have or share interests, but they also have things that like Sarah loves mermaids, and this one, like, I love learning about what people really like and what they don't like and what they're all excited about.
Well, I feel like what you do, because it's already a little risque, it kind of knocks down walls. It's like, why are we, it's the same with me and saying the fucks and all that kind of stuff. Like, people already are like, hey man, the walls are already knocked down. We could talk about a lot of shit. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We can be a little bit, we can get a little offended. We can kid around a little bit. It's okay. Nobody's going to.
Right.
And plus, you see things like Nicole sending Doctor Who stuff to Chloe for her birthday. Like, you see people in our extended group being such awesome people that it's like, yeah, this is a safe place where I can be myself. I could be a little weird. I could be a little wacky. I can ask something a little rude or something. And
I'm jealous of Sarah and Tom Andrus. I think that dude, I see them and I'm like, man, that's tight. That's so cool.
that is a closeness. Yep.
Yeah.
And she absolutely murders my messages. But yeah, her and Tom, great friendship there. Absolutely amazing friendship. Yeah, I can't wait to meet Sarah. That's the one thing I'm missing at. I haven't met Sarah yet.
Sarah's one of the few you haven't met.
Oh, and Marseille. I gotta meet Marseille too. That's gotta be a pip. Oh yeah, I love Marseille. She's such a sweetheart. Absolute sweetheart. You know, that's the thing is, this is what I love about our group, our particular group.
Sometimes you know too much about people's. That's true.
That's true. No, you know what? Everybody's got likes and dislikes. But no, what's amazing about our group is there is one common element where you are not a part of this group. That you give a shit about people, other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there isn't anybody in the chat right now. There isn't anybody on my live streams. There isn't anybody who tunes into your live streams that isn't an absolute fucking above decent person. You know?
Yes.
I mean, there's a level of compassion and caring and sweetness and kindness and thoughtfulness that is far in our extended group, that is far beyond the standard norm. And it's like, and you see somebody like Nicole or Sarah doing something absolutely amazing or for somebody else, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, I'm not that good. Like, I'm not that nice. Like they keep raising you up, making you level up in your compassion. And that's freaking amazing.
It was funny because I get like shortly or right around the time that I did Belial is when I started to kind of hook up with you guys. And I remember telling a couple people, and Wendy was one of them, I was like, these sexy people, they're not what you expect. Like, and that's what I kept calling it. It's the sexy people. And I was like, that's what you guys were to me. And I was like, the sexy, they're not just the sexy people. They're fucking like sweethearts. It's weird.
You know, it's
but like in a good way.
Especially with your F-bombs and everything else like that. People don't understand that you're a bit of a prude.
I am a prude, yeah.
Is that Canadian or is that familial upbringing?
I think it's both, but it's mostly family. Like, my grandfather was a priest, and sex like was not mentioned a lot. It's something that you hide and you were a little more ashamed of and whatnot. So and I mean, but I love sex. I love kids. I love all that stuff.
But you know, it's not PDA. It's not something that you do publicly. You know? Yeah. It's like, it's one thing, Playboy magazine's okay, but do you read that in a public place where that's where prudish, like, people don't understand.
Yeah.
That's what prudishness is that you don't want the fact that you think nudity is acceptable in a public place where other people might look down upon it. You know? Kind of, that's what prudishness is. Yeah. No, the sexy people, that's funny. Sexy parties. All I can think of is Stewie. With the sexy parties.
Sexy parties.
Sexy party. Yeah. So my mom was German. So no, tits out. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just don't have the hang-ups.
Good night, buddy.
Good night, Eric. They just don't have the hang-ups. You know, she was from Germany, so they just don't have the hang-ups, and she didn't give them to us. But the interesting thing is, she was opposed, absolutely opposed to violence and disrespect of any kind in entertainment. So, like, we were allowed to watch Magnum PI. We were allowed to watch Simon and Simon. We were allowed to we were allowed to watch TV shows where characters had positive interactions with other characters. Even if it was like Magnum, where he was taking down bad guys, it was important that he was having good relationship. Like, I would have never been allowed to watch Jennifer Jones as a kid.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So my mom was perfectly okay with nudity and sex, did not care about that. Violence, gore, and disrespect were her things. You're not watching. She didn't want us to watch that stuff.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And we're getting a bunch of, Eric says, well, at one point, sex, romance, love. I'd be worried about the people drawing murder and death all day long. I mean, I find some of that stuff interesting, though. It was like with Belial. It was fated to have tits in it because I chained myself I was chained to Greg Warrencheck, who loves titties, and Sean Barbour. Same thing.
Right.
So
right.
They drew, I wrote this thing, it happened, and then in the first issue, Greg drew a titty, and I was like, I didn't write any nudity in there, and I was like, I remember saying to Sean right away, I was like, I didn't write any nudity in there, and he's like, okay, and I was like, and we say fuck all the time, we've got all this shit going on, like, how do I say no to a tit? Okay, fine, I guess we got nudity.
It was like a waitress in the bar or something, right? In issue 1? Yeah. It didn't have to be there, but it wasn't jarring in any way. Like
it made sense.
Right. If you told me if you told me there's no tits in this book and I flipped to that page, I would have been startled. But when I first started reading the story, especially with Link, I'm thinking boobs are coming out in this story at some point. Because Link is a horn dog. There's going to be some sort of, it's going to be sex fun. It's going to be like Three's Company kind of in hell. There's going to be some sort of sexual humor going on. I'm expecting. Yeah. That's a funny thing. Doing covers sometimes, it's like you'll get somebody to ask for a regular and a risque. A lot of the Buku covers I told the story. So it's Vampirella, and she's got her top on, and there's a couple bats, and then she pulls her top off, and on the topless cover there's like about 20 bats because they all came over because she showed her boobs.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do a regular and a risque cover, it doesn't make any sense. Like the one for Belial 2, the beer pong cover, there wasn't really a way to make a risque make any sense anyway if you guys had asked for one. So sometimes risque is just the topless, and I like them. I like doing them, but I love when we can put a little something else in there as to a reason as to why her top isn't on. So what I liked about when I saw the Belial and the nudity in Belial, dude, I just flipped right by it because it just looked integral to the story. I'm like, they're in a bar, it's a bunch of demons. Of course, there's gonna be a topless chick in there.
That's now. I have never written nudity, but Greg has put it in every issue. It's in this next one, like it's in all of them, and I'm like, fuck it, like, yeah. The only thing I said was, there's the one character, she's in issue 2, Chemosh, and she's like a strong female character, and I said, you know what? I don't want her to be naked because she is our strong female character, and I don't want that strong female character to be sexualized. But you do absolutely anyone else, and I don't give a shit. He was like, okay, great, and it was there, and I'm like, okay, yeah, go ahead. It's just the one character where I was like, that it just takes away from the idea of that character and what she stands for and stuff. And
right. And especially it would be in context. If that particular character was seducing one of the demons to get her way with him, then that would be acceptable. Yeah. But if she's just standing there's no reason for her to be nude. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Davey Lee's out here too. Yeah, man. Thank you, dude. Always great having you around. Glad to have you back on, man. Hopefully we'll have you as a guest at some point. Though we're booked until, holy shit. I'm now booking for July. So
really? You're booked out to July? Dude, you got to take some of these guests, throw them together into a panel show, and open time slot.
I saved my panel shows for you.
I was betting that you were going to have Eric Cockrell waiting in the wings, and then slide me over at some point and turned it into just to fuck with me.
I was thinking about it, but I was like,
come on the show for 5 minutes just to mess with him.
I was like, he earned it. Let him in. But I wanted to. That would have been fun.
Dude, let's get this out in the public since most people are going to bed. It was over a year and a half ago that we talked about you doing the live stream.
Yeah.
About about a year and a half ago, right? Because you started in like fall or something like that.
I started in December, and it was like literally you said, dude, you got to do this, and I did it like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and this is my favorite live stream by far, for a couple of reasons. One, I love shit talking you. Yeah, whatever. Two, you're really good with the shit talking in the chat, and if you know my fans deliver heat in the chat, so you got to be able to have fun with it. And then three, you brought on a lot of guests, people I would never have seen in a million years, because there's a lot of comics live streams out there or whatever, but you bring in everybody from across a wide spectrum, and I'm generally interested in every guest you freaking bring on. I don't know where you find these people, but like it's different medias, different. I joke with you about the writer heavy episodes because writers, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But like when you bring some of these people on it, it's like I gotta get to bed. No, I'm gonna watch Chuck's show for an hour. Like I never turn your show off like midstream because I can't, because you're usually pretty too good. Your show's too good.
We got a really good one in 2 weeks.
Who's that?
Matt Hawkins from Top Cow.
Really?
Really?
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, we've got some big boys coming in. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, but you've earned that. That's a year and a half of doing these shows and doing really quality shows and getting quality guests.
So you know what? The one I thought today, there is one fuck up that I'm disappointed with. Do you know what number tonight's episode is?
No.
It's 68.
Oh, fuck!
If you had waited one fucking week,
dude.
or if one asshole hadn't have ditched on me 1 week,
I know,
you'd
right?
be 69. Like, fuck!
Dude, that would have been awesome. I would have done a sketch. We could have done a giveaway on the show. I would have done a 69th,
right?
Something like that. 69th episode sketch, and only viewers who tuned in could have won it. Oh,
look, Wendy says I'm going to work on Chuck's background and get his new camera hooked up before Matt is on. Thank you.
Oh God, yes! Please do something with the background. Dude, is the light bulb missing?
Yeah, I took it out altogether.
Oh, okay. They even have clip-on lamps that clip onto the light bulb. Then hang on.
That's not a bad idea. No, you missed. Yeah, see, we missed
like
69.
It's like a lightweight plastic dish that clips onto the light bulb, just covers up the fixture or whatever if you want to.
That's not a bad idea.
Don't you have a banner? Do you have a banner?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, just make the place look a little spiffier for him. Zoom the camera a little bit more. Zoom the camera a little bit more in or something like that. You'll be fine.
Well, she's going to get... I do have a camera. I'm like you, man. I don't do any of the shit. I just jump in front, go on my phone and do it.
Wait, I'll show you. I have this great wall of comics of the hundreds and hundreds of covers, right? And my camera's facing the chair that Carrie sits in when she's going. Like, that's real good planning for a backdrop. Or at least put the mannequin in the show,
Right. I've never seen the mannequin before.
You never seen the mannequin?
No, I've never seen the mannequin before. Wow, that's great.
She's in a skirt that Carrie and I designed back when we were doing that kind of stuff.
Really?
That jacket is my mother's from the 50s, I want to say. Maybe 60s. No, early 60s. Nice. It is a reddish brown or reddish orange suede jacket. Carrie keeps it there for safekeeping because she wants to wear it. But she doesn't want to wear it all the time because it's basically an heirloom at this point.
Right.
Because it's an actual 60s jacket. So,
Wendy, I don't know where this came from, but Wendy said, we'll have to sandwich you between me and Chuck sometime. Babe, we said no porn. This is going to be it's sexual without getting too...
Sounds good to me.
Right? Yeah, I'm in. Thank you.
Threesome, I'm in. No problem. Like, you have to ask. Like, what the frick?
One of her favorite guests was the Canadian stuntman. Oh, thanks. I loved Christopher. He was great.
Yes, that was an interesting one, too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I love it.
And, dude, you have to have, what's his name? Ben Cook? You have to have him on, like, every show.
Ben is one of my oldest friends, yeah.
He's hysterical. He's absolutely hysterical.
Eric says, I'm always drawing, usually 12 to 14 hours, and watching Chuck's awesome. Ah, thank you, buddy. And see, yep. That's what I love about this is that, like, you guys are talking to me, so I get to talk back. I fucking hate, like, when you told me, hey man, you should be doing a show, I was like, what do I like about shows? What don't I? And the one thing that pissed me off is I'll check out a show even for a short time, say some stuff, drop some quality, funny shit, and then they don't get to the comment. And I'm like, I wasted it on you. I fucking wasted it. Fuck you. I'm out.
You know, and part of it is, I realize that too with the live streams. It's no different with the artist live streams. If you're an artist and you're drawing on your live stream, trying to pay attention or keep up with the comments is tough. And so I'm grateful I've got Carrie there to react to the comments. But the other part of it is, I noticed, like, you go back to the comments that have been said. It's awesome when you build up an audience where they interact with each other. So 80% of the comments on my live stream on Thursday night aren't directed to me at all. They're directed to each other. They're commenting on each other's comments or cracking on each other or joking around with each other in the chat. So they're like self-chatting with themselves, and I'm like some distracting background, you know? And then every once in a while, Carrie sees a comment that I have to react to. So that's the thing. Yeah, with a lot of the live streams, you don't get the comments are ignored. And I get it. You're doing a show or something, but the comments should be part of the show in some way, because they're your audience. Like, if they're not laughing or applauding, like on a TV show, then you're not getting reaction.
Well, yeah, like, how do you keep those people there? Well, you keep them by talking directly to them, and you know, regarding them. Yeah.
Right. And like you said, if you're dropping pure gold in the comments, you don't want to be skipped over and ignored.
Yeah.
And
like,
you can because like you said, you'll watch some live streams and somebody like Shawnee will drop a great comment in there and it'll get like 5 likes, but the people who are doing the live stream don't even acknowledge it. It's like everybody in the chat just loved that comment. You could bring it up.
Speaking of that, she wants to bring her mannequin to meet with yours.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh, Wendy says she was talking about a panel show. Sure you were. Now you were.
Sure you were.
If y'all sandwich, I will make sandwiches for the sandwich. That's good. When is what?
So when is Bilal coming out?
I'm hoping summer.
Okay. That's really big, a large time span.
Yes, that's for a specific reason. I'm hoping for summer.
Right.
So we have, I can say this because it's been said publicly, we have 12 pages inked. But that's the nice thing about that book is that it's just inks, and then he'll go back over it and do the gray wash, which is fairly quick once he gets going to it.
Right.
But and then it's letters and we're done. But I actually want it done this time. I want to be able to get it out to reviewers because, again, you know,
I don't disagree.
You always want to do bigger and better. Like you and I were talking about someone, we won't mention any names, but we were talking about a comic that I had noticed where I saw a severe down drop. And I was like, and I'm sure you feel this way in your own business. I fear those drops so huge. So what are you going to do to make sure that shit doesn't happen? So what did we did so great for Bilal too. What can we do to be even better? Well, we can have reviews. We can have people actually reading the book, talking about the book, excited about the book. Great. Let's do that. So that's something that I want to do and have happen.
You know, part of that is too, you gotta, this is the thing. There's a lot of creative people in comics, comic artists, comic writers, creative types. A lot of creative types don't get the exposure to or the experience with business.
Yeah.
A concept in business that is absolutely fundamental to survival is pivoting. And I know it's the catchphrase and whatever, but it's a truth. Can you stand in place when you're successful at something and pivot? In other words, we were all going to Blockbuster stores and renting Blockbuster videos right about the time that Netflix was going to be their competition. And Netflix didn't beat them Blockbuster at their game. They didn't open up stores and rent video. They changed the freaking game out from under Blockbuster and destroyed them. So when businesses talk about pivoting, that's what they're talking about. Can you, on a moment's notice, absolutely upend your business and turn it into a successful direction yet again? So, like for Carrie and I, we did 3 art books last year. And we had a format, and we had a way it was set up, and everything else like that. And after 3 art books, we've completely changed our format because we learned in the course of doing 3 art books how to do it better. And if you're not doing that consistently, so the fact that you want to have Bile ready to go at time of funding, that makes complete sense to me because you're competing with Kickstarters out there that are not making people wait for printing.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, Dustin's going to release 6 titles this year and probably 9 Kickstarters. And his goal is to fulfill and release and print and fulfill in sequence. So you've got competition out there that already have their books ready to go. You want to have them ready to go. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I bust Sean's chops and I messaged him privately to let him know I'm just impatient because I like your fucking comic. Okay. So when I give you crap about the fact that it's taking so long or that it comes out every,
because you want it.
Because I'd like to see it come out every 3 freaking months because it's a good
Yeah.
book. You know, there are comics out there. I don't care if they come out once a year, but your book is good enough. It could be coming out every 3 months.
But you don't, because it's only going to be 4 issues and then it's done.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, we have ideas moving forward for other things to do. And actually, I'm working on a 4-page short, which is just Link.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
so,
you can avoid working on Welcome to the Void.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
Fucking Jesus.
Get
away from working on the one project we all want to see. I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mike Bankston? Mike Drop? He's on my ass about that all the time. Where's the next one? Where's the next one? Well, you want to know where it is? It's in Viscarian Tales. It's in Belial 3. It's in, like,
and all that shit. I said to Carrie, I said, I want to do this comic because she said, you know, stop giving your ideas away. I'm like, I got great ideas. I haven't given them all away. She goes, oh, yeah, what do you got? And I run this idea by her. And she goes, that's awesome. Start working on it. And the first thing I do is other people's work. Commissions, covers, everything else. Everything else is going to get done first.
Yeah. Even Wendy said, I wanted my book 100% complete before launching. But that's not happening. It will be very close, though. Yeah.
It'll be close. It'll be close. I was chatting with her today. It'll be close. It'll be an understandable one thing that doesn't get completed.
Yeah.
If that's the case. And that's fine. You know, like even Wendy with her book being ready and everything else. And now the challenge coin is the holdup, you know, like I get it. It funds. Now you know your numbers. Now you can order what you need.
You called her.
Yeah, I know. I need to make this book.
Summoned.
But you gotta be able to order the quantities you need. So everybody understands that. And there are delays. There's something that goes whatever. So that's what the whole thing is about, is you're getting some leeway. So even if something isn't completely 100%, the one thing that blows my mind though is when people launch Kickstarters, and I get it if a cover artist didn't turn in their art on time, but I've seen Kickstarters go up there. Granted, they didn't fund, but it's like none of the covers are colored. Like you go scroll through the Kickstarter and there's no colors, there's no sample pages. And it's like, what are you showing? You're showing an incomplete project that kind of makes me think it's not going to be complete. Like, you know what I mean? And that there's things that can be done afterwards.
I agree with that. You know what baffles me anymore? There was one project, and I like the people behind it. It was one of those things where this thing came out, I saw this, and I was like, I'm not talking about it because I was really annoyed by it. But they showed off the book. They showed off finished, penciled, inked, colored pages.
Right.
No lettering, but they showed off the script.
Okay.
So you couldn't take that script and just fucking letter the pages? Right. Literally, someone could do that in half an hour. What the fuck are you doing? That's so fucking lazy. Like, I was livid. I was so angry. I was like, that's so fucking lazy. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I got so mad that I just couldn't support that book. Even when they didn't do that anymore, I was like, nope, you already lost me. Like, it was such a bungling, stupid move.
Right. Yeah, you know, and because you see Kickstarters and you're just like, a lot of times you're just like, huh? Like, there's lots of Kickstarters to look at. You know, you can look at a lot of Kickstarters and pick the successful ones and look at what they do. Pick and choose some great ideas that they had, how they format, where they where they line things up. Because sometimes you open up a Kickstarter and it's like there's the cover piece, then there's the funding information, and then you start to scroll, and after you like scroll 3 times, you're like, am I going to see the comic? Like, here's a biography about why their grandmother, and I'm still scrolling, told them they should write comics. And it's like, could you show the comic book already? Because right now, my scrolling finger is ready to slide and go back to Facebook.
I hate when, and I'm sure you're not against this, all we see is a bunch of fucking covers. And then I'm like, I don't even know what the book's about. Show me some interior, especially if you're going to show me like 50 fucking covers. Right. What are the interiors looking like? I have no idea because you have so many fucking cover artists. Is one of them your interior artist? Usually not at that point. No. So who the fuck is your interior artist? What does it look like?
Right. No,
am I just fine prints? Like
I, as a cover artist, I want the covers to be up there pretty soon because that's what I'm interested in. I know that's not everything, but you probably should show off a few covers. Maybe not all of them. If you have 20 covers, maybe they should be further down. But maybe show off cover A and show off some of the interior colors because it is a comic book. So I'm assuming there's going to be pictures. So how about we show cover A and we show a couple pictures and then maybe tell us a little bit about the story. Don't do the whole biography about everything. Then get into the stretch goals, maybe, and maybe at the end put in why you got into comics and everything else like that. Because it is an interesting note, but it's pushing all the other material down. Yeah. No, but I know what you're talking about.
In your video.
You're talking about those Kickstarters that are basically, like a puppy mill. Those are cover mills.
Yeah.
It's a book that nobody cares about. And it's some artists that they have 20 covers and they're just there to sell the art.
Yeah. Well,
that's why you're not seeing the interiors because there's nothing to.
And to me, it's not impressive. Like, ooh, okay, so you could afford a bunch of cover artists. Good for you, but what the fuck does that even say? What is the story? What else is going on there? Like, I have to have something else. Fuck, come on.
Right. Like and I guess the difference is, I bet you there is probably a clue there. The difference is, are they a writer and creator who put together a comic book, or are they an artist who got together a bunch of cover artists to make an art book, a cover art book? Because who knows what the inside looks like? And that's probably your indication. We all know who we're talking about. That's probably your indication that there isn't a lot to the comic on the inside.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That's probably why it was done. It was done for a reason that was other than to tell a story.
Well, Eric, the first thing you have to do is you have to hit up this dude right here, and you have to get yourself. Yeah, he does a great little sexy manga book. But Eric, talk to Stef. Get a cover from him. I'm telling you.
Please tell me it is. Please tell me it's Samurai Schoolgirls. Because
I believe it is some kind of schoolgirl thing.
I need to be drawing sexy anime manga style samurai schoolgirls. I do not understand why there are not more comics out about that. I'm talking Iki Tucson. I'm talking schoolgirls fighting. Because they wear the skirts and there's a lot of kicks and that's the whole point of those comics.
It's a Catholic schoolgirl thing. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's the school uniform, and there's a lot of leg kicks and a lot of bent over shots and little skirts. That's the whole point of it.
The best. Yeah, and always button popping.
Here, I'm supposed to promote the things I'm on, so here that's easier than
let's do that right now. Yeah, boom.
Yeah. Cat and Piggy Girl charity book through Russell Allen on Kickstarter now. Primal goes till Friday. We have a running girl jungle cover on there, nude and regular. If It Hops, Dustin Burnell Kickstarter going on right now about agency, a little bunny agent in a world of furries, basically, without being a furry comic. Tragedy just launched tonight, and what else? Oh, we've got our art book coming soon. Okay, that's it.
Well, and you and I are on Cat and Piggy Girl together.
Yes, Cat and Piggy.
I edited that, yeah. Yep. And then he says, Demons and Angels during the first day of college. It's still school, man.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? My favorite thing about and we were having that conversation today about some publisher, no names, doing a food cover, and
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe I have to explain this to you, but and I'm like, why am I the only person who knows this? And that's probably because of the time I spent on Slushy, or Tumblr before that, because both of those, the art communities, were a little broader minded, shall we say. But
that's a fair statement.
But what my favorite was is a lot of the stuff that I would see, it was kind of implied that they were high school seniors. Like the schoolgirls, the fighting schoolgirls, they looked like teenagers, but they weren't in college, but they could be 18-year-old seniors.
They could be 18.
It was always the implication, you know?
Right.
And I always thought that was hysterical. It's like, you know, they're never in college, but we're not going to say that they're 14 or 15 because their skirt's going to fly up and you're going to see. And, you know, the obsession with the Japanese with the white panties.
Yeah.
Not granny panties, but it's not thongs. They're actual legitimate panties that girls wear. They're comfortable.
Well, it's like, how did all 6 of these high school girls get held back a year? What the fuck is going on in this school?
Yep. Well, because it's never actually a high school. I think that's what it is. That's the go around. It's an academy.
Oh, it's boarding school or whatever. Yeah,
preparatory academy or boarding school. Yeah, but it's because they want to say that they're high school girls, but they don't want to say that because that would get them in trouble. So.
Of course.
I'm like, come on, you're stretching it.
You're Japanese. Come on, guys. You can get away with a lot of shit.
Come on, it's a free space here. We're all pretty open-minded. The sexy people,
right?
The sexy people got your back.
They do. They'll have you. Yeah. See. All right. Well, you know what, dude? We've been going on for 2 hours.
2 hours.
It's time. It's time for you to probably either work more or hang out with the lady.
Dude, I gotta pee at this point. For Christ's sake.
Oh, me too. You know what? You know the mistake I made was my mom, when she came down, she got this like margarita stuff.
Yeah.
And so I immediately, and she was like, "Oh, I hate it." And I was like, "Whatever. All right, I'll drink it." So I threw it in the freezer. And before the show, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I'm really thirsty. I'm gonna get that margarita stuff." So I grabbed my little cup and I started to pour it out. It's all frozen, so it's like slushing down. But a fair amount of liquid came out. And I was like, okay, but I got all of the liquid out. And then I realized, wait, all of that liquid is the alcohol.
Right, exactly. That's the part that would have defrosted first. Oh, that's hilarious.
So I'm like, woo. So I had a good buzz going on for the first half of the show. And now I'm fine.
Well, you did come in a bit like a fireball. I thought something was pumping you up. Yeah, exactly.
I did. It was, I took a couple drinks of that and went going.
Was that one of them frozen buckets of margarita stuff? Was it like the frozen bucket? Yeah. You know, that's funny. That's the one alcohol I couldn't drink tequila for the longest time because we were at a ski house and I had that frozen bucket of margarita. And it just tastes so freaking good. But I projectile hurled so bad that night. I was like, I could not drink tequila for a year.
Wendy can't touch tequila because the taste. So as soon as she knows it's tequila, she's done.
Right. What? Because of a bad experience?
Babe, was the tequila because of a bad experience? Yeah.
But if you give it enough time, you will get it back. Like, it's still my favorite drink. It just wasn't for a certain period of time. Because
I think she's done.
Yeah, really? Oh, that would be a
our whole marriage, she's never had tequila. That's like 20 some odd years.
The funny thing is, all that stuff is so far in my past now, which I stopped drinking probably long before I should have stopped drinking, for no other reason than just it wasn't, doing anything for me. I sleep in parking lots and things like that. I've done it. I did all that drinking stuff, and it seems so long ago. So I have no interest in getting wasted now, like I haven't for like 20 years.
Don't do the margarita challenge here, Steph. You're grounded. What is the margarita challenge? Because maybe I'll do that for Belial.
It's got to be better than the chip challenge, that's for sure.
Holy fuck! Or snorting a line of fucking hot sauce. That was stupid, dude. I made $500 in an hour-long show.
Right. No, I thought it was hysterical because Dustin was calling out Jim on the live stream he did on Sunday. He gave the gloves to Jim so that they could each eat this chip, this hot chip. Then Jim didn't eat it, and the problem was Dustin was sweating so much he reached up to touch his eye.
Oh no!
And because he didn't have the gloves on, he forgot it was on his hands. So he was in pain like 2 ways. Meanwhile, Jim never even ate the chip. I was like, oh, freaking hell. No wonder he wants to do that.
Of course. I used to work at a chicken wing place. We did all sorts of flavors. And one of them was the crazy suicide where you had to sign your life away and everything.
Oh,
and
wow.
Someone came in. Yeah, someone came in and they wanted that. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was the cook there. I made it for them, brought it to the table, watched them eat a couple. And then immediately it was like, oh, man, I got to go take a piss. So I did. You always wash your hands after you take a piss.
After. Wow. Right. You figure you're going to wash your hands when you leave.
I literally had to call my boss. And
no way.
Crying. And I had to
Really?
call him and say, dude, I got to go home. And he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I have the suicide on my dick. And he's like, what? I'm like, dude. And literally, I walk in the house and strip down the pants, throw a bag of frozen peas on my crotch right away. Like, I'm crying.
Dude, I want to walk in when you're holding it, when you got it stuck into a glass of milk. Hoping that'll help.
Oh, I have similar stories where that's concerned, but that's for another show. Oh, what did Wendy do? She shared an entire bottle of tequila with a friend. Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. There's no half bottle of tequila. Unless you're like a serious hardcore drinker. No, half a bottle will kill you.
You have to drink a 56-ounce margarita within 30 seconds we have at the bar, but you have to use one straw. I fucking hate straws.
What? No, I can't drink heavy anymore. I bet a Coors Light would set me to buzz.
Dude, I would piss the entire day.
I know. I can't.
I don't think that's worth it. I would have to have done that 20 years. I would have done it 15, 20 years ago, but no, not today. No. All right, let's shut her down.
Good.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out, dude. Always great seeing you.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Such a good show.
You coming,
everybody? Well, now I might have the opportunity, so we'll see.
Oh, please.
When is it?
September.
Oh, September. I don't have anything going on in September.
September in Vegas, Amazing Con. Oh, September 12th or something like that. I don't remember. Dustin's going to be there. Wendy's going to be there. We're going to be there. There's 4 other people that are going to be there that I know of.
If anybody wants to share a table, let me know.
More importantly, Tom's going to fly out there. Joshua's going to be all the people that we know and love. Shawnee, people like that are going to make it there. It's going to be like Baltimore was last year.
I saw Baltimore. I was so jealous.
It's going to be a nice fan experience. Like, we got a bunch of creators, and that's great, and a couple artists that we know that are going to be there. But it's just going to be a fan hangout kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where they camp out at our booths, and we have a fun weekend. So,
dude, all right. I might see if I can share a table with someone. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming out. Guys, thank you. We had such a great chat today. Holy shit.
It was freaking awesome. Chuck was for 20 minutes, but you didn't even know.
You guys had no clue. See?
Oh, see?
My name is Chuck, and I like to get drunk. Talk to you later, everybody.
Have a good one, man.